What up, it's your boy Zero Brew coming back at you with another video. Now, I know the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle event just ended, and I know a lot of people are burnt out and not everybody was able to get all of the turtles. But now that we finally got our hands on them, and in fact, I just built my Donatello, or geared my Donatello. He was already built, but finally put him into use last night after I got the Leonardo. And of course, built and put all four of them together. I'm wildly impressed. And I know you might be burnt out right now or see a lot of people putting out a lot of content on the turtles, but I want to do my take on it because this is one of the most impressed I've been on champions and what they can do and stuff. In fact, I would go as far as to say they feel a little broken. But anyway, please stick with me. This video is all going to be about Leonardo at the moment and why I did what I did. And let me see if this resonates with you.
Real quick, click the link in my description to get a free Karato as well as Annex, Ugo, and Mausoleum Mage as you level up. Here's how to do it. Log out of Player and Play on a PC and uninstall. Click the link in my description and register with a brand new email. Launch Raid and complete the tutorial. Go to your inbox and claim your first champion. Get an awesome start in Raid Shadow Legends with your free Karate Fox Hunter as well as 3 epic champions. Hit the link below and claim them today. I'll see you in the game. Woo!
Okie dokie. So Leonardo, most of you know what he can do. Basically, he's a faction unity champion coming in. He's also a defense-based nuker, but coming in with the Void Affinity. Now, I will say I did put some of my best gear on these champions. And so it is a little bit of a pain to kind of swap things in and out a lot. And actually, he's not so much. There's more Raphael and Michelangelo and Donatello, actually. Donatello is taking a lot of gear from my Mariska and my Queen. And the Queen and Mariska are fantastic champions, but that's just how I kind of built Donatello. And you can see I haven't even put hers back on yet, right? These two pieces will be taken from Mariska. And I do think I need to make some further adjustments. Again, I just built Donatello and Leonardo last night. Really haven't, I mean, I got to play them and see how insanely crazy they are. And I'm going to break down why I did what I did with Leonardo. And there's a couple ways you can build Leonardo. We can talk about those, and other content creators may have a different take on all this. This is Zero Brew's take on it, and here's why, right? So first of all, I am using them in arena, right? And we'll close out the video just showing you how disgusting all four of them are in arena, right? We did a 4-piece feral and a 4-piece stone skin set on this champion. Also on Leonardo, I wanted him to get above 300 speed. So I did have to pull some of my best gear off of this, just so you can see we do have the double crit damage here. We have the double speed on that. Defense on the chest, and actually only could go with the crit rate gloves, but it did have defense on those as well based on the speed. And of course we got attack here. I'm not going to worry about re-rolling that. You do have defense ring, and I did get a triple roll of defense on this Shadowkin ring, which is absolutely insane. And we did one of our big glyphs on that, so we got a plus 11 on that one, which is fantastic. And oh, I found a piece that hasn't been glyphed. Guess what we're about to do? Glyph it. And besides, I need to do it for my daily anyway. Actually, let's just do it right now. All right, so glyphs, let's go big on this one. We got a triple roll on this. He is a defense-based nuke. Let's get that 60. Come on. We got 57. That's about as close as you can get to the 60. Don't really need the attack on this one. We're just going to go with a little one just to use it. Accuracy, I'm just going to go with a medium one or whatever. I know like some of the things potentially might need the accuracy, but I haven't really cared about that so much. And let's go ahead and just do a big one on the HP. Actually, no, we're going to do this one on the HP. All right, so when we landed the top roll on that, which is fine. I need to do this for my daily anyway. And then of course we got a triple roll on this defense here, flat defense, sadly, but we do have the defense percentage. And of course, this is technically a double roll on speed with a 4-star glyph on that. And of course, we went with the Wand of Submission. Just the glyphs that we went on, where speed is increased by 2 for each dead ally, whereas defense is increased by 1% each time they receive a critical hit, stacks up to 10%. And I just kind of double roll that so we can get an extra, I guess, 20% defense, assuming that stacking and all that works. Of course, you get speed and HP on this relic where it's at. And then of course, just to break it down, we did take the lightning cage. And then, yeah, so these are the masteries we went with. And this is probably the biggest divergence. Of course, Helm Smasher is behind me, but this is the biggest divergence from a lot of the other content creators. And why is that? Okay, so first of all, a lot of people say go and take lasting gifts because he puts so many buffs on himself, including that stone skin buff. We'll show you that skill here in a second, but you get a 2-piece stone skin with lasting gifts, and of course you get the all the other buffs that he puts up on himself, right? But I chose to do the retribution and the cycle of balance, and again with him already at 300 plus speed, this is this is kind of nasty. And we did go with the shield breaker and of course the life drinker, so he can get some healing off of the damage and stuff, right? So, and then the other thing to note is with methodical, increases the damage inflicted by this champion's default skills by 2% each time it's used, stacks across each round in the battle up to 10%. Why this is huge, and this is huge for all the turtles, is obviously with their passives they're always attacking with each other. I'll show you what that means, but this methodical on most of your champions will stack up, right? And again, this is why they say to go with lasting gifts, right? So this is where you get to do the, obviously you get the unkillable, the ally protection, and the counterattack and all this, and then the passive, you get the stone skin. And it would be nice to kind of get the lasting gifts with that, but the retribution is just stupid, because you get the counterattacks, and then when counterattacking, will repeat this attack against a random enemy. So this is kind of insane as well. So you wouldn't get that if you went with the lasting gifts, right? And the other thing I will note is when you're using all the turtles together, you do so much damage so quickly that you're not really taking advantage of the lasting gifts, right? Like if they're going to strip you or whatever, or take it off of you, and you know, it's like a Sun Wukong or something like that could strip and take it, you're just helping them keep this up longer on them with the lasting gifts. And I'm going to be honest, they all just do so much damage so quickly that the lasting gifts is actually irrelevant. And that's my argument for why I went with this. You're going to use the retribution and go that route. Now I did go with the cycle of revenge there. Probably could also go with the deterrence as well. So if any of your other allies get hit with any of this stuff, he has a chance to counterattack as well. And again, when counterattacking, has a chance to repeat the attack, or will repeat this attack against a random enemy, which is absolutely insane. Also, Stone Skin and Feral. So this is the other piece, cycling back all the way to the beginning of this conversation. Why we went with this is, first of all, the turtles are very susceptible to bombs. So your Commodus teams just nuke the crap out of the turtles, right? And of course, bombs bypass Stone Skin, but Stone Skin bypasses, obviously protects you against most of the stuff, including damage, right? But Feral set will protect you against the bombs. Now, he's the only one of the turtles that I have with this, but Leonardo can solo stuff is absolutely insane as well. Okay, so that's one of the reasons why I went with that. And I know a lot of people are like, well, he's a nuker, you need to go with lethal or savage or one of those, or merciless, or one of those that have the built-in ignore defense. And I hear that. And again, you do have the Helm Smasher here, right? That's going to give you the option. I hear all that, but big butts, and I cannot lie. Here's my argument. Okay, on this one, you're ignoring 3% of the target's defense for each buff on this champion. Again, he puts 4 up on himself real quick. And plus you got the other turtles that puts up buffs as well. So you're coming in, you're already ignoring up to 15% defense. Of course, you're giving yourself the increased defense, which also increase his damage. And then of course, you've got this one, and this, if you have one ally turtle, you get 15% ignore targets defense per Leo, Donnie, Michelangelo, and Raphael. Does not count as champion. So you get a basically, if you're using all 4 turtles, you get a baked in 45%, and then you get the Helm Smasher on top of that. And then if you're hitting with the A1, you know, you got that. This obviously those don't add together, but you already have the baked in pieces. And then this 8th, this is just absolutely insane. So again, one final look at these stats, right? So 5,200 on the HP, attack doesn't matter. 7,500 on the defense. And again, he's got the increased defense on himself. Of course, the relic is giving us HP and the extra speed. 302 on the speed. Crit rate, we got that. And then the crit damage, 238. By the way, the blessing is giving us this 38 to go up from 200, right? And again, defense is really high, so we're getting damage out of that. Crit damage is not as high, right? So to get him this fast of speed, I had to sacrifice on that crit damage. Now, by default, because we did take a feral thing that is accuracy, and I don't necessarily know that I would have taken this, but it had the defense and the speed. And of course, it was feral, right? So we did have to we kind of were stuck with that. I would probably change that up if I could as well. But yeah, so 400 on the accuracy just to have on there. And then the so trust me, Leonardo just does damage. And I did last night a hard battle and clan boss with the turtles, and actually Michelangelo, who's built for damage, did a little bit more damage on that, and we can actually show that off here as well. Yeah, that's why we built Leonardo the way he is. And then I'm just going to show all 4 of them together, and we'll do a whole separate video on like the breakdown of kind of what they're doing and why they're doing what they're doing, because the AI kind of does some of the stuff. And then when you manually play them, I was doing other things. For example, Donatello is the fastest on my team. Donatello goes first, and he just does an ally attack right out of the rib versus the turn meter boost. It's kind of insane. And then you let Raphael, Michelangelo, and Leonardo do their buffs instead of their big attacks or their buff attacks. And it's absolutely insane. And quite frankly, it's fun to play with and very, very, very broken in the game. So I will say, if you did not get the turtles yourselves, and trust me, I get it. It was very hard for a lot of people's. And we did a whole bunch of hoarding ourselves to be able to get this done. But what I will say is, if you are going up against a turtle team and you don't have the turtles, you may want to reconsider going up against them. Now, there are certain turtle teams that don't have as high of player power or the team power or whatever that mine's going to have. But I would say 4+ team power, 500, 600 team power. That's where you have to get really, really scared. 300 and below, at least for me, I'm able to pretty much fight through them with my different teams. So just note on that. Okay, so a part of me wants to just show you my other turtles and the gear and all that stuff, but I think that's better suited for just an all turtle team fight. But I'm just going to run a few fights here. And again, 3 of the 4 of these turtles have stone skins. So that's going to protect you against the Cavalax teams. And I'm just going to run it on auto, and we'll do a breakdown in manual mode again in that other video in the future. But yeah, so Raphael got it. And of course, Leonardo just got sheeped. That's not cool. But Raphael out there blocking, block reviving everybody. And it does matter where they are in the teams as well, just to note. So yeah, I'm just laying the smackdown. What's my team powers? Yeah, so my team power is 529. If you see this, be scared of that, right? Absolutely. All right, so what do we got here? Odin, yeah, Empress, White King Narcissus, and of course Duflicky here, Arbiter. I'm just gonna keep running it, but it does matter. Leo in the first slot, Raphael in the second slot, Michelangelo in the third slot, and Donatello in that. And of course we're stunned, but there you go. Things are going now. Donatello does cleanse the Berserk off of the Raphael, but just stupid, right? And those unkillables and taunts and all the things are quite nice. We're out here just doing damage to their stone skin and just completely murdering them. And it's just absolutely insane. It feels very, very broken. But I like to break because these champions were not easy to get. Again, my heart goes out to you if you weren't able to get them. Trust me, I understand. And I know there were a lot of new players that got, drawn into the advertising of this game and whatnot. And like, oh, I want to get it. And the only thing they could probably get is Michelangelo. Because when you start out with a brand new account, it's impossible to go and do fusions and impossible to do card flips and souls unless you open up your wallet. And that's a different conversation. So I'm not advocating for that. But yeah, Leo in the first spot, Raph in the second, Michelangelo and Donatello. And I will say, even with Leo in that first spot, so this is the other thing that I want to make clear and why I built the Leo the way I did. Again, most people are going to say, build him nuke, building lasting gifts. Again, hopefully you can see from these fights aren't lasting long enough for blasting gifts to do anything for you, okay? And the other thing, by not, again, keeping him in the feral set, you protect him against bombs and other things, you actually are nerfing the damage output that he can do, and he's doing stupid damage anyway. So technically he's getting the kills, you're seeing them happening, right? But he has kind of been brought down a level, right? And Raphael's up here. So what he can do is soften up those blows on those attacks. And then Raphael hits as the second person on the team and he's block reviving, right? So, and of course, if you don't know, Raphael does a double hit and blocks revive if he gets the kill, right? So that's what's important. So by not doing the lethal and the savage, you still have it built into his kit. So you're still doing some massive damage, but you're bringing it down so Raphael can kind of do his magic. And I do think this is, again, Zero Brew, you do you, boo boo, you do what you want to do. If that's not the way you want to build your turtles, but this is certainly the way I built my turtles, and I have not seen anything that tells me I'm doing something wrong at this moment, right? And I'm going to close this out. So we got a whole bunch of stone skin here. There goes Donatello. We're doing some attacks. Slam, bam, thank you, ma'am. But look at all that protections we have up on our champions, and there go all the ally attacks. We are stoned. So 2 of the ally attacks got stopped there, and there goes Leo with his counterattacks. Again, he did have that piece. We might lose this fight. But then again, Leo just went off and he hit for 323, 233, and Leo just went pap, 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 and just killed everybody. So trust me, when I say lethal and savage, you don't necessarily need it. Now, we didn't get to showcase any of that Raphael block revive stuff that I was just talking up, right? All right, let's fight this 754. This is going to be quite the challenge. 754, and we got some burns on here, and let's just see where this goes. And then I want to run that clown boss team just so you can kind of see what's kind of happening. And then we'll do a future video where we'll break it down. And again, I want to break down Donatello. I have done a Michelangelo video kind of showcasing him spreading the bombs and using him to spread April O'Neil's stuff. If you want to see more of that, let me know. So we do need to do a Donatello breakdown. Now this is not going in our favor, but there goes Leo just going the F off. By the way, he still has his hard team. Leonardo still can clean up in a feral set and stone skin, right? So, and really that's the thing, is you're keeping him alive so that when things start happening, he can go off like that and still get the kills. You know what I'm saying? You're covered. And just for S's and G's, we just got to take this easy fight, because Arbiter, you're going to go first and you're about to get smoked. Boom, that's everybody doing the ally attack. And that was the example I was just talking about. Donatello did his A1 and actually did an attack, right? Leonardo went, softened her up. She had some shields. She had some other stuff. He took that shield off or whatever. Raphael was the third one. If you saw that, got the hit and the kill, block revive. Done and done. Michelangelo never got a turn on that one. And trust me, I know you want to see all their other stats and how I have all my other champions built. We'll do an all-inclusive team build as well, and maybe we'll do a playlist for all the turtles and the breakdowns. I got my extra key for the day, and this is just a team I ran the other night. Now granted, it's on hard and it's not that big a deal. Where are my turtles? They're my turtles. And I'm just going to keep exactly what I was doing. Now, I will put Elva in the front because A, I didn't strip any of the gear from Elva like I did Mariska. Mariska probably would be better to use here because she has, you know, her different passes and stuff like that. But Elva can still revive and keep people going and heal and protect your team. Now, on this, I did put Raphael again in that #2 slot. And again, we're not going to be blocking revive here, but just FYI, I kept him in that #2 slot. I did that, and I did run this in Fire Knight hard 10. We did get the win. It took like 4 or 5 minutes, and because we just didn't have a way to control the turn meter, it was not. I would not suggest doing that, and it probably was not 100% team, but we did Raphael in the 2 slot in that, and I did on the waves and stuff find value in doing that. So just note that Leo in the front on a 4-person team, Raphael in the #2 slot always. All right, so here we go, and I'm just going to run a quick battle. Now, I ran this the other night, and Michelangelo actually did more damage than Leo. But again, keep in mind, Michelangelo is built for damage. Well, he's built for also for kind of doing his thing. And actually, this go around, it did not do the same, right? And again, this is Fire Knight, or excuse me, Demon Lord hard. Nothing to scoff at. Now, Leo did come in and do like 2 million more damage. The other night I did it, Mikey got like 141 damage to about Leo's 139. Donatello still coming in at 34, Raph at 88. Sadly, Raph isn't getting as much damage as you would think, considering how much of a nuker that he is. However, you got to think about it too, especially with the Berserk buff. Well, first of all, he's not going to put it up unless he does his A3, but he's probably dying left and right because he is a glass cannon, and Elva is probably picking him up left and right. Right, so that's probably what's happening in this fight and why Raphael's not putting out the damage. But yeah, so even in this example, right, Mikey is definitely built more for damage than Leonardo. Leonardo without Merciless or any of that, or Lethal or Stone Skin, or excuse me, Lethal, Stone Skin, Lethal, Savage. Leonardo is not doing that crazy amount of damage. And just to say what we did, Michelangelo's stats in comparison is 338 on the crit damage and almost 7,000 on the attack. I'm sure we can kind of pump that up, as opposed to the 238 and the 7,500 here, right? Just to give you an indication. So Leo is still doing insane amounts of damage, and I'm sure he will do a lot more damage, right? So if you did want to build this Leo in a boss team, and I would say if you're building Leos separately without the other turtles, you absolutely need to, if you want them to do damage, you will need to do the Savage and the Lethal. And I probably should have said that at the beginning. If you're still with me, I'm saying it now because I just remember this. So Leo is good enough to play by himself, or like with one of the turtles. Maybe you got the Leo and Michelangelo as the freebie, right? So I would absolutely build him in the Savage and Lethal or Merciless or whatever if he's solo by himself, or more PvE stuff 100%. But like I said, in arena with all 4 of them, you don't need it. And I've made my case to you, so let me know what you think. Am I off my rocker? I don't know. You kind of saw the results, and I went up against some pretty hard teams in regular arena to see how that is. Now we will do a full-blown one in the future with all the turtles, but I want to do probably my next one Donatello because I have not kind of done that one yet. And just so you can see, I did do the relentless stone skin on him. So I don't know if that's the right way to do it, but I'm telling you right now, I ain't seen a hole in my strategy yet in Arena. So we'll see. I just need to play it more. Again, it's only been 24 hours since I built them out. But anyway, that being said, give me a like, do the comments, let me know what you think. Did you get all the turtles? Who's your favorite? Right now, I'm going to be honest, Raphael's my favorite. We'll see if that holds through as I keep playing with Leo. And again, we just got the Leo built last night, so I need more time with them. But yeah, we'll talk at you later. Zubru out. Bye.